Hello everyone and welcome to it. If you've been around for a hot minute, you may notice that my setup in my backdrop is a bit different from what it typically is. We are actually moving in exactly 1 month. I'm so excited. We're looking forward to it and we're finally packing. This is my new setup for this video at least. Anyways, welcome to it guys. Welcome to another video. How are you? Are you doing well? I'm really tired, honestly. Today we are going to be doing another book review, and for today's video we are going to be reviewing another Colleen Hoover book, and that is All Your Perfects. I've really enjoyed reading her books over the past few weeks, and I enjoy her writing style, and I just think her storytelling is so good. So good. Today's video is going to be all about her book, All Your Perfects. Also, really quick before we get in, I just want to tell you guys that this is a spoiler-free video, so you don't have to worry. You can watch this video. I'm not going to give away any like major details or big spoilers from this book, except for at the very end, which is where I will tell you that it's going to be like a spoiler section. It's just going to be like my honest review, and I'm going to give you like a brief summary about it so you can decide for yourself if it's something you would like to read and stuff like that. I just want to put that disclaimer in there because I know people forget to do that sometimes, and I hate when like people ruin books for other people without telling them like, hey, spoiler alert. I have a lot to talk about with this beautiful book, so without further ado, let's just jump into the video. First section of this video, I thought it'd be really fun to go through and do like a brief summary about this book, because when I was first going into it and like I read the back, it was not what I expected at all. So we'll do a brief summary. Remember, no spoilers, so it's safe to watch. Basically, this book follows the story of Quinn and Graham. It's actually quite sad how they first meet, and you know, they both wind up getting out of like these very unhealthy, toxic relationships. Luckily, they have each other. It's still like a really sad part in the book because they both basically got betrayed pretty bad. So that's how they first meet. That's how the book begins. They actually don't come back together or talk ever again for like, I think it's 6 months. They wind up finding each other again a little bit later in time. Your typical sparks fly, perfect love story. They're perfect for each other. They're soulmates. Just your typical sappy, cute love story that gives you the butterflies. We all love it so much. The book follows the beginning of their relationship. The book also covers like another time period in their relationship. They're facing challenges. We basically watch how they navigate around those challenges while also learning about their love story. So it's a really interesting read. When I started reading it, it's not what I expected because every chapter bounces back and forth between now and then. Chapter 1 starts then, the beginning of when they first met in the beginning of their love story. Chapter 2, it goes to now, this current time, and it's when they've been together for a while and they're now facing challenges. That's how the entire book goes. It bounces back and forth, and when I started reading it, I wasn't into the back and forth because I thought it was a bit confusing, but once I hit like chapter 6 or 7, I started to really like the back and forth because the chapters explain each other so well. I can see why she chose to do the back and forth time periods between the chapters. Something I really liked about this book was how the chapters went back and forth between now and then. At first I thought it was really confusing and weird, but then once I hit like chapter 5 or 6, I was like, oh, this makes total sense because the chapters really correlate together even though they're from different time periods. They connect and they make sense of the next chapter. I'm happy she did because it's the whole point of the story. We're trying to get an insight into how the relationship started and how it's going years later. Something else I really liked about it, and it's something I really like about Colleen Hoover as an author, is she makes the relationships very realistic even when it gets to like the challenging, hard parts of relationships. The fights that Graham and Quinn were having throughout the book and the way they both reacted to those fights, it was just so realistic. Like, I could understand Quinn's point of view for being upset, but I could also understand Graham's point of view for being upset. You really could see and understand how they're clashing and bumping heads and disagreeing on things, and I just think that was really nice to read. So that's something else I really like. I just think she portrays real life relationships so well, and you can really relate to them. Again, it just gives you different perspectives basically on the arguments and the fights they have. Obviously, I love the whole sappy love story part. I thought it was actually really cute. I love Graham's character so much. I just love like how much Graham is such a supportive and loving person throughout the entire entire book. No matter what happens, no matter what arguments they have or what challenges they face, Graham is the most loving and understanding person. I think it's really nice to see like the character development between the two of them because again, it just feels so realistic and you watch them go through these hard times. Their character development is amazing between the both of them. The epilogue at the end of the book, it gives you a little bit more closure and I just really loved that part. Now we're going to touch base on all the things I disliked about this book, which is going to be hard because I didn't really dislike too much. If I had to say one thing, it'd be the going back and forth between time periods for like the first 5 chapters. I was kind of confused reading it and I didn't like it, and then once I hit like chapter 5 or 6, I swear I was like, this is the best book ever. I love that she went back and forth. It makes total sense. I'm happy she did this. Like, I can't imagine the book being any different. Another thing I would say that I disliked, but like not really, would be Quinn's sister Ava and her husband Reed. So Ava and Reed are in the story very briefly. Ava and Quinn are very close. It's her best friend, it's her sister, and they end up moving across the world to live in Europe because Reed got a job offer. We don't really see a lot of Ava and Reed. I kind of hate how that takes part in the story, and like I wish that Ava was more present in the story. When I was reading about Ava and Reed, I was just comparing them to Alyssa and Marshall from It Ends With Us, but like I just wish they were in it more because I really loved their characters and I thought they were really fun. Those are like the only things I didn't like about the book, and even then they're not really things I didn't like, they're just things I wish I could have changed, but like still happy they happened. So I feel like it's safe to say I didn't really dislike anything about this book. Overall, I really loved this book. I thought it was really beautiful. Again, it just really shows you a realistic view of a realistic relationship, the challenges you can face as a couple. I love Quinn's character development. 5 out of 5 stars. From me, I love this so much. I think when I did It Ends With Us, I may have given it like a 4.5 out of 5. This is a 5 out of 5. That was beautifully written. Okay guys, so we've hit the part of the video where I'm gonna give away some tea. We're going to talk about a little bit of spoilers. So if you haven't read this book yet, fast forward to the next timestamp because I don't want to spoil the book for you. Skip forward. Don't watch this if you haven't read it. But if you have read the book, then stick around. So welcome to the spoilers section of this video, guys. The tea. We're spilling the tea. First off, the way that Graham and Quinn met, I love how Graham throughout the entire time is like, we're soulmates. Like, we are 100% soulmates. I want to marry you, like all this stuff. I just thought that was so cute. And then I also really loved how he proposed to her at the beach house and then they went and eloped at that beach house. I thought that was so cute. I think their whole coming about and love story was so perfect and sweet. It just seemed like the cutest couple. And I just love Graham's character because he's like the perfect guy. He's totally obsessed with Quinn, and you know, he thinks they're soulmates and he'll do anything for her. When it comes to the now time period, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting it to be based around her not being able to have children, especially because like she talks about how that's all she's ever wanted was to be a mom, and it literally broke my heart. It really hurt my heart, and I hate watching Quinn struggle throughout the whole story. You know, Graham doesn't quite understand what she's going through, but he's still being like such a supportive husband and he's being there for her. So I hate that Quinn like shuts him out, and I feel really bad for Graham in that aspect, but at the same time, like it's so hard because they're both taking on really hard things. They can't have a child together, and that's something they've always wanted. So it's really sad. I hated that part of the book, and that was like the entire book. The 2 parts I hated the most of the book was definitely when Graham had cheated on Quinn. He kissed someone at his work. It's hard because the book makes you hate him but love him at the same time. So obviously I hate him because he cheated on Quinn. He should have never done that. He should have never kissed that girl. In a weird way, you side with him and feel bad for him because, you know, he's like, I wasn't attracted to her. I didn't like want to kiss her, but the way she moved and acted, like it reminded me of you, and that's why I kissed her, because I missed you and I looked at her like she was you. So like you feel bad for Graham because he really just misses his wife the entire story, and that's what leads him to kiss another girl. But you also hate him because it's like The second part that I hated in the book the most, it was towards the end when Quinn and Graham had gone to bed and they were still fighting, but they just went to sleep. Quinn had been feeling really weird and very sick, and you know, she calls out for Graham, and when Graham gets up, he starts to freak out and he takes Quinn to the hospital immediately. Quinn blacks out for like a few days basically. That's when we see her again. She's out of surgery and we find out that she had to have a hysterectomy because she was hemorrhaging. That was like the most defeating part of the book, because you find out that she was pregnant. Finally, they had a miracle. They got pregnant, and then she'll never be able to try for that again. It was just the fact too that like she had gotten pregnant and she didn't even know, you know, like she didn't even get to be happy for like that one day or those few hours knowing that she was pregnant after years and years of trying and being disappointed and devastated. Horrible. That ripped my heart out. I was not okay. There's two parts of the story that I also very much loved. It was between the few chapters where they were reading the letters that they had written to each other on their wedding day, and basically the letters were meant to be opened on their 25th anniversary or in case of a huge emergency like divorce, and they were on the brink of divorce. So Graham opened the box up and gave Quinn his letter from their wedding day to read in hopes of saving their marriage. He had written multiple letters throughout the years as they had gone through like the struggles of being infertile and stuff like that. Quinn finally realized what Graham had been going through and the struggles he had been facing, watching her struggle and be sad, and it was just really sweet because the letters really proved that Graham really is the perfect husband and the perfect guy, you know. I thought that was like a really important part of the book. The very ending of the book, the epilogue, where we see like a fast forward of their lives, where they're at after everything that's happened. The last few pages of it that I really loved, and it's when they briefly mention about finally getting a dog. And I forget what chapter it is, but it was when they're fighting and Graham comes in and asks Quinn like, why did we never get a dog? We can't have kids. Why not have pets? Why not have a dog? And at the very end of the book, Quinn is like, oh, we'll name the dog this. And I'm just like, oh, they're getting a dog. I thought that was really beautiful, and they're getting a dog, and I just thought that was like a really cute like loose end to tie up, because I always wondered, I was like, are they gonna get a dog or maybe something like, but I love how she's like, we'll name the dog August. That's when they had come back together, was August 8th, and that's why they're gonna name the dog August, because it's like the world and fate brought them together and August was just part of the equation. Okay guys, that is all for my book review. I hope you enjoyed it. I love Colleen Hoover books, guys. If you have any Colleen Hoover book recommendations for me, comment down below. Comment down below your favorite Colleen Hoover book. Let me know what you think I should read, what you think I should review. It's just like one of those weird books that makes you feel good, but then makes you feel like sick, but then you feel good again at the end. You're like, oh, okay, life's okay. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up because it really helps me out. So go like the video, go do it right now. We have all the time. And then of course, don't forget to subscribe down below because I post weekly, guys. I post weekly. It's basically free entertainment every single week, so you might as well subscribe. I have a lot of fun bookstore vlogs coming up, reading vlogs, book reviews, and maybe some moving content. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next video.